Things were looking up. I had symptom relief, control of my Crohn's meant everything to me. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Nina. I'm a certified life coach, and on this channel I post about coaching tools, personal development tools, as well as my journey with Crohn's disease. And I've done a video to follow up and talk about my experience with each one of my loading dose infusions with Skyrizi, which is the first Crohn's treatment that has worked for me. And I wrapped up my third and final loading dose, and I'm here to tell you everything that's gone on since then. So I'll tell you a little bit about how the drug is working for me, some side effects that may have popped up, as well as what these next steps have been since finishing the third and final loading dose. Now, first of all, I mentioned in my last video that the next video that you would be seeing on this channel would be a presentation that I am putting together on the harms of functional medicine. Now, I've been quite busy, quite occupied, so unfortunately I haven't been able to get to that in as timely of a manner as I would like, but I just finished filming that presentation, and it's a lot of footage, but I hope to get that out to you soon. But yeah, I have definitely been more busy in the month of March. Particularly, I got my second loading dose at the end of February, and then I got my third loading dose at the end of March, and now we're around mid-April and a lot has happened. So I have been feeling great on Skyrizi. My Crohn's symptoms have really like all but disappeared. I feel like all I'm waiting for is to, believe it or not, get another scope in to see what is going on inside, so that I can have that like final piece of mental rest that things have really cleared up on a tangible level. But my symptoms have certainly improved so much. The first thing that really disappeared for me was the fatigue. And I know that that's not everybody's experience, and people still deal with fatigue throughout treatment. Like, it's not something that goes away for them. And certainly I will have days that I am fatigued. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but the debilitating sort of everyday persistent 24/7 fatigue is definitely gone. And the nausea has cleared up quite a bit, as well as like the general pain, the general abdominal discomfort. So I am really happy to report that Skyrizi, by all accounts, is going very well for me. The next steps, now that I finish my loading dose, is that at the end of April, I will be going back to the infusion center for them to give me a tutorial on how to use the on-body injector. So my first on-body injection will be 4 weeks after my last loading dose. And then from then on, should everything go to plan, I will be having my on-body injectors shipped to me every 8 weeks, and I will be taking an injection dose every 8 weeks. But this first injection will be happening at the infusion clinic, and it will be happening 4 weeks after my last loading dose. And now there's actually a different insurance protocol to have the injections approved versus the infusions. Now, there is, from what I understand, absolutely no reason that your insurance would approve the infusions and then go on and deny the injections. That would just be like ridiculous, even for American health insurance standards. So for me, luckily, or not even luckily, just sort of expectedly, it has come through and my insurance has approved the on-body injections for me. I was guided through this whole process from, I haven't mentioned her yet, but as soon as Skyrizi was approved for me, I was assigned a nurse provider situation. What's her title exactly? I don't know. I was assigned a nurse advocate, maybe from AbbVie, which is the company that makes Skyrizi, and she guided me through, you know, what this process was going to look like. She warned me that there would be 2 different insurance processes, but that there was really nothing to worry about. She's checked in with me after every single one of my infusions just to like make sure that everything's going good. Super quick phone calls. And so after my third infusion, I found out, thanks to her, that I would be getting a call from my specialty pharmacy to basically just confirm my address so that they would ship me the on-body injector. And then once I receive that shipment from AbbVie, I will put it in my fridge because it needs to be refrigerated. And then I will take it with me to the infusion center, and that is the on-body injector that they will do my tutorial with. And it's not just a tutorial, you know, they're teaching me obviously, but it's also like an actual injection. That was something that I was a little confused about. I thought that maybe a tutorial was just going to be a tutorial, and then 8 weeks from my last infusion, I would have my first injection dose. But no, the tutorial is with an actual dose that is all sent to me from AbbVie and all of that. And so that's what I'm expecting to happen. I'm expecting to receive that package soon, put it away in my refrigerator for a while until the end of the month. It seems like a pretty straightforward process. I don't foresee myself like giving an update on how that goes unless something for some reason happens to go differently or unexpectedly. Otherwise, the next Skyrizi update that I'll give will be when I have my first on-body injection that I perform myself from home. Now, like I said, throughout the month of March particularly, and February as well, I had been, and I still am, quite busy. And this I can really credit to the fact that Skyrizi has like given me my life back in a way that I couldn't even imagine. Like, it's a huge deal to not be debilitated by the symptoms that I was having and to have energy again. So one thing that I have learned since getting my life back in that way is that I still can't go too hard. I learned that the hard way. So in March, I was living my best life. Things were looking up. I had symptom relief, control of my Crohn's meant everything to me. But come April, I learned that there is a consequence, not only given the Crohn's, but given the immunosuppression of the medication, to going too hard. And I wasn't living just like normal energetic levels of every day. I was really like catching up on things that I had not been able to do for like 2 years, like seeing friends and going on trips that I just was not feasible for me before. And in all of that, doing things, and most detrimentally, I think, not getting enough sleep throughout it all. Once the sort of like high of the excitement to be able to do all of these things that I previously was unable to do wore off, eventually, unfortunately, putting a little too much on my plate and having a little bit too much fun caught up with me, and I've learned some of the consequences of being a newly immunocompromised person. Now, here's the thing. I had been on azathioprine, which is an immunosuppressant, for a few months at the end of the year last year, but because it like only made my symptoms worse, I wasn't like doing anything to exacerbate my body in a way that would allow my immune system to react negatively. I had like some UTIs that were unpleasant, but generally like during that time when I wasn't working, I was like laying in bed eating vegan chicken nuggets, watching Special Forces World's Toughest Test, saying if I felt better, I bet I could do all of that. It's all about the mental energy. So I was like taking care of what needed to be taken care of in terms of rest. And now, as I began to feel better and feel like a newfound sense of energy, I was not totally taking care of my need for rest. I was doing a lot of exciting things. I was traveling. I was like messing up my time zones and all that jazz. I was doing stuff like outside of my norm, and it caught up to me. And it really like hit me once I started to slow down. Once I started to slow down, I felt like a growing intensity of joint pain. that was like so bad for a little while there. And I was just like, oh, whatever, like this is still the same autoimmune stuff. The Skyrizi is helping the Crohn's, but something else must be going on here with this joint pain. Gotta figure that out, gotta schedule a rheumatologist, blah, blah, blah. But it started to occur to me that this could have just been my body complaining that I wasn't taking good enough care of it. And it's crazy because I used to think that I took like such good care of my body, and I really did. Like, well, I don't know, like before I got sick, I woke up early and went to yoga class where I managed to get a lot of sleep in, and I ate like pretty much whole food, vegan, outside of like some processed cheat foods every now and then. But it's just a different standard of care that you need to like give to your body. That's why they call it chronically ill. Like there is no cure. You still have to take care of your body more than your average bear. You can't like get away with some of what your peers can get away with in terms of taking care of yourself. And there still needs to be like a huge effort to minimize stress as much as possible, not overwork yourself, and get enough sleep. And that became apparent to me when what sprouted up was just a little tiny cold sore. Maybe you can still see the remnants of it. I hope not. But that's already a sign for anybody, because most people are infected with the virus that causes cold sores. And when you're stressed and your immune system is lowered, that's when the virus will go from dormant to active and you'll get some cold sores, right? But this was a whole different beast for me. My joints were already complaining because I was stressed. I was complaining myself because I wasn't getting enough sleep, and a lot of it was outside of my control. So I was, grumpy, in a bad mood, low energy. And then this cold sore came and it turned into 2 cold sores, and then turned into 3, and then it turned into cold sores inside of my mouth, and then it turned into a sore throat, and then it turned into a fever. And it was awful, 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 like so annoying. It was my first experience of like seeing the effects of being an immunocompromised person. And unfortunately, it's something that not everybody is going to understand. I don't think that generally we have a culture in this society where people are as in tune with like actually taking care of themselves as is necessary, or at least that is necessary to a certain population like me that can have really negative health outcomes if you don't just like take care of the basics diligently, because there's such a focus on like work and grind and all of that. That's my take on the situation anyhow. So for taking care of my Crohn's and my health in general, I've recently learned the stress of the importance of not just relying on the medication, but having a holistic approach. And holistic includes medication. It's not like, stay tuned for my functional medicine presentation. But I had a very visceral lesson in the importance of sleep, hydration, good food. This is also a whole other thing. My relationship with food is so different now after 2 years of not ever being hungry, literally just eating to survive and for the psychological pleasure of it. Food is so different to me. And truthfully, what I've learned is that feeding yourself 3 times a day is such an annoyance. It is so inconvenient. I didn't used to have to. If I tried to feed myself 3 times a day when I was dealing with active Crohn's, like more harm than good by far. And so it just like stopped being a habit for me to take care of myself in that way of feeding myself consistently. And I started like, this is actually what went through my head. Like when I started to feel better, I'd be like, yeah, I'm starting to feel better. But then every once in a while, I'm just like nauseous in this new way that I haven't been nauseous before, where like when I was dealing with active Crohn's and I was dealing with a stricture, I never felt empty. I never felt like my stomach was empty. I would feel that kind of nauseous where I felt full, where I felt like I was going to throw up. I literally did not have physical space to eat. So when I started feeling better, I every once in a while like experience this feeling of like it feels like my stomach is empty and I'm kind of nauseous and it's weird, it's different, and it was just me being hungry. It's a feeling that I was unacquainted with for over 2 years, so that's new. So yeah, this is just a quick update to tell you what I'm learning now as someone who is entering into a remission with Crohn's and dealing with the side effects of being now an immunocompromised person. I'm learning what it feels like to be hungry. I'm learning the importance of consistently fueling yourself, not letting yourself starve, taking care of my sleep and stress management, and allowing myself to have fun and make the most of sort of like getting my energy back, getting my life back. But balance, it's all about balance. I was like, once I had my energy back, I was like a kid in the candy store. I was just doing things that I hadn't done in so many years. But now as the novelty is wearing off, I don't want to overwork myself naturally. So that's where I am here in my Crohn's journey. Overall, things are going well. Cold sore is healing itself. It's slower than any normal person, but nonetheless, stay tuned for my next video. I promise my next video will be my presentation on functional medicine. Hopefully, I'll also get more videos out in the meantime, but the next Crohn's update that you can expect from me will be once I do my first on-body injection at home. But thank you so much for watching. I've been loving reading people's comments saying that they find my documentation of the Skyrizi experience helpful, especially because I wasn't able to find anything like this when I was looking for stuff like this when I was starting Skyrizi, so it means a lot to me. Here is my Crohn's and chronic illness playlist, and if you're interested in the other type of content that I put out, here is my coaching tools playlist. But that's all I have for you for today. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to speak to you again sometime soon in one way or another.